Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Peter Palmiotti, and this is Flashbang. Dead live. All right. So let us. I'm not as prepared as I wanted to be, um, but we're just gonna have to go with what we got and how we're set up. So. Ba, ba, ba. All right, so you're gonna see it upside down. I'm sorry, it's unavoidable. Let's see. Let's see, there's one person watching. All right, let me just post this. Ba, ba, ba. All right, I'm sorry. This will get smoothed out. I'll be talking in a minute and letting you know what's happening, and we can get it rolling. All right, so I don't need you, and don't need you, don't need you. All right, so I just got. All right. All right, so this is my Inktober project. FLASHBANG, it's a neo-noir with a little cyberpunk kind of mood atmosphere, and it's a story of Thom and Carla and a whole bunch of other characters. Now, if you're my patron, you get to become one of the characters, and I could just look at this. Okay. I'm sort of going to be working out the kinks over the first couple of episodes. But it should be a lot of fun once I really get into it. Thank you for the thumbs down. That's totally appreciated. In reality, everything counts as a thumb up. So appreciate it. I just want to get something. All right, I'm kind of picky about pencils. So let me throw these there. All right. Now I don't have the script in front of me, but you know, it was only something I kind of pushed out um, to get the atmosphere of the comic. So, like I said, this may not be the most pleasant of viewing. Um, but it's something I'll be fixing probably tomorrow. Um, you know, now mind you, it is now midnight for me, and I'm not going to be doing these this late in the game. It's just today has been monumentally crazy. I got so many people coming after me, wanting work, and I'm doing work. You know, trying to do a lot more artwork. Let's see. So what I'm doing here is essentially designing the first page out. And I want to sort of, I'm just thinking conceptually of how I want to set it up. And that's that's essentially what you're going to get in these streams. You know, I'm going to design the page. I'm going to focus on one panel and pretty much draw that panel out. Above and beyond that, I'm not too sure. So, okay, I'm just going to keep it really simple. Okay. So neo-noir, which I guess is an actual term, but I was thinking of noir, as in, you know, the inspiration behind Flashbang is a lot of comic book greats, and I'll be getting into influences more down the line, but essentially like Jim Stranko, Frank Miller with Sin City, Stranko with Chandler. He did a graphic novel called Chandler, which was phenomenal. There's so many, but you know, I'm not going to get into that too much. But okay, so here we have some sort of future city. So Neo being new, new to me is future. Noir is everything's dark and gritty and is not necessarily a mystery that, you know, gets unwoven, but I don't know, possibly. Well, every story is sort of a mystery until you learn what's going on. So in that sense, definitely. Um, Not sure how quick I want to jump into. I'm thinking, conceptualizing. Neo noir and cyberpunk. Well, obviously, movie Blade Runner. Got Blade Runner coming out soon. Well, the sequel, which I hear very, very good things for, which I'm very, very happy about because I loved um, the original. And if you're watching, please say hello in the chat, um, especially if you're a friend and somebody I know. um, but yeah, Blade Runner, I think it's 2049. Very excited about that. And, I want to have sort of elements of that. I'm a big fan of William Gibson. He wrote many a books, but his first, I'm not sure if his first, but Man Davis, hey, what's up? I'm working on my Inktober comic, FLASHBANG. Welcome. Um, yeah, William Gibson uh, is definitely an influence, and great, great read. I'm thinking like this will be a little, not tongue in cheek, but so this was your first, yeah. Inktober could be a, man. It's like you gotta produce on command. Um, what I'm doing here is, conceptualizing the page, um, and I'm going to focus on a panel because I don't want this to go on for like 5 hours. Because I could really just like sit down and work on a page and like be here forever. Um, but I do want to show off my inking, but I'm going to probably wait a couple of days at least, until I get into a rhythm of this. So this is, tonight, it's upside down, and I'm gonna fix that. And I just, I had an incredibly busy day. So I'm just getting to this last minute. But I've done Inktober before, but much like other challenges, not totally successful. So I'm hoping this time around will be a lot different. Um, each day going forward, I'm like taking care of 100 things, so it should all smooth out as we get deeper into Inktober. But yeah, tons of influences flew through my brain once. This was actually I did the Artcasters with Scott Circlin and Joshua Kimball, and we were talking about on the show Inktober. Well, Scott brought it up, and I was on the fence. You know, a couple other friends of mine, I'm pretty sure, definitely Mike Emmerich, asked people on Facebook, and I think I might even said no. But you know, get closer and closer to October 1st, and it's like I'm getting sucked into the hype. And I was like, you know, all of a sudden just thinking about it, and you know, once I started really getting a solidified group of influences in my brain, um, the idea to do this comic really came together. And you know, a lot of it's tied to my patron, and you know, I'm an artist trying to make a living as a full-time you know, as a full-time artist. And you know, one of the perks if you become a patron is you can become a character in the book. I already have 2 people who volunteered their likenesses to be in my comic, so that's awesome. But I'm going to be doing another video for my patrons that will give more of me working on this page somehow, some way. And I'll post that up on Patreon probably tomorrow. I'm all, you know, I got to play catch up. But so let me get into what the hell I'm doing here. So we got city. I'm thinking it's, you know, future New York, since I grew up in New York, even though I'm living in Kentucky right now. Always loved New York, always will. And trying to, okay, so all right, so this is what I'm going to do. Panel 2. I want some sort of commotion going on. You know, there's different ways of starting a story, but I want to. I'll probably lay this page out, but this is just, you know, starting from scratch. Yann actually took a couple of quick pitches for me to use, and one of them, I believe, was shocked or surprised or like freaked out, some sort of crazy reaction. And one of the ways to start a comic is like really to dive in head first on some sort of action going on. So I'll probably use that photo. Let's call it Event 1. So we enter the city, and right off the bat, there's something going on. Um, let's say, that's a street behind him, and I want to have some sort of crowd, but it's clear that they're running that way. I don't know. Does that make sense page-wise? Probably not. This is just like the briefest of beginnings. You know, lots of people work from either you either have a full script, everything's mapped out for you, or you have, like a Stan Lee plot. And, what I wrote was kind of looser than that. I sort of, what I did write was created a mood. But thinking about it, I want to, meet the character once I set up a little bit of the atmosphere. So I want to get to know the city a little bit, the rules a little bit. And let's see. So maybe through Yann's eyes. Yeah, this would be like his back. We could have something as simple as, one of those future flying cars that's spiraling out of control and going to crash land, and apparently on top of Yann. Then it would be good. These are probably, I'm not too sure about these people. I don't know. They should be running this way. I don't know, something. But yeah, there'll be like the tall, futuristic buildings. And this is almost like his back and kind of a silhouette almost. And I like that. All right, so switch the angle. All right, let's see. So say that we're now looking from up top. So perspective of buildings is like that. And it's going that way. We see much closer to us because we're looking down from up above a future flying cop car, hopefully coming to the rescue. And how can I do this? Let's say I'll probably have to flip the angles of all this or something. So we see, let's see. Okay, so this is from above still. This is the car that's going out of control. And in it is the driver with his hands out, and it's too small to draw. But with a shocked look on his face, or like, "Oh my God, save me!" kind of look on his face. Hands waving. Okay. And because the cop car is sort of like turning and shifting in the air, maybe we'll get a glimpse of like it's rolling to the side. I mean, you're in the air. It's easy to do that sort of thing. So maybe they can make this. Like to where you could see the cop driver and his face, and maybe just see his partner. And maybe they have some sort of, I don't know, electrical magnet. Um, that will possibly, hold. And I don't know. I'll have to come up with a real good design, but this is just make it look like a magnet for right now. So the cops are like slowly itching their car close to the other one in hopes to save it. This guy's freaking out. This never happened to him where his car's falling out of the air. Um, and yeah, the cops are just intent on saving the poor citizen. Then, last panel, page 1. We see, let's see how we do this. Let's say, no, it's really not, not enough room to show it in this tiny, tiny little thumbnail, but okay, so we got, let's say, this is the car flying out of control, and it's the cop car. We can see sort of a little bit of the action going on. The cops are, I don't know, pressing buttons, hitting switches or something. And we could see, like, the magnet now attached to the car. This might need before panels. But yeah, my intention with this is we now see, let's say, somebody in the back seat of that car stand up, holding a bazooka. at the cop car. So let's just say rocket gun. All right. So I just made that up off the top of my head. Yeah, so you can see. So you can see what's happening here. Realize live streaming is not the best quality. But there you go. It is like page 1 of FLASHBANG. And I'm going to work on the positioning of everything. A little bit better. You know, I also have to allow room for text and sound effects, and maybe I will squeeze in 1 or 2 other panels. I could definitely see where these 3 panels are kind of quick, and I kind of want it to be quick. But I also want to make sure that the reader understands exactly what's happening. And I could do I was going to say a little panel within a panel, like, you know, the magnet attaches to the car or something and saves it in a little panel, possibly. But yeah, if I really map it out right, that might work. I definitely like this. You know, maybe even more like worm's eye view, where the buildings are like really going off, um, getting smaller at the top, like not like a straight on perspective, but like a real worm's eye perspective of the buildings, as well as the car coming at Yann, who is now the only one on the street. And maybe something that really accents that more. Or I could really make another panel like this. You know, I hate like I've seen many comics start off with a first page where it's a little, almost a square of a panel. Like, you know, maybe there's another panel to the right, maybe there's 2 other panels to the right. And in the first panel, it's like a little skyline. You know, I like the idea of a grand skyline on the top of a page. Um, so I don't want to lose any of that space. Yeah, it's like you have to use the property of a page wisely. as well as, setting up a story. So I may go with, let's do it simplified. And for the record, I'm a bit old school. So, I like my panels within the page. I don't mind bleeds, but bleeds that are effective. Now, mind you, I could, say I go with the two panel theorem, then slightly chunky tall panel, then I can go like that's kind of medium panel, and this is large panel, large panel. So then let's say almost as if like the bleed of this would be, sort of the top portion is the city behind the panels. Just, the city is so big and entwining and that it just it bleeds all the way back there. But then I could just, like if this is all black or mostly black, of course, with, lots of little lights within the black, making it a city at night. Then this can just fade at that point, so this would be a little bit of the fade over here. And I like that. Ultimately, I'm thinking along the lines of it being colored, even though I'm not a colorist. I am writing this, I am penciling it, I'm going to ink it. I might get a friend of mine to letter it because I could, I could slap letters on a page, but I'm not, I know where to put them. It's just, I'm not, lettering it's so important. Special effects, it's really like they gotta be perfectly aligned. So, yeah, I like this. Two panels. This could be also like, the city's so dirty, so it could be like just fog or mist, like you know settling at the bottom of the city. Um, then of course, like it could be pitch black over here. And then the tops, it could be very like it could be actual lines, and then you know it being night, it could be pitch black behind it. I am going for neo noir. It's gonna get me every time. And cyberpunk. It's cyberpunk is high tech and low people. So I mean, page one, we don't know much except that I'll do my best to convey that this is a high tech city, but it's also dirty. Um, and definitely by the sort of story just on this page is what we thought was a car careening out of control and some cops going to save them turns out to be just some thugs, and now they're gonna take out the cop car. That's not right. Who would do such a thing? All right, so you get the idea. So I'll have the city against a black silhouette of night. Um, and maybe mist, or maybe this is just freaking smog. Maybe it's a real dirty, dirty, dirty city. Yeah, I'm gonna be, and I'm thinking like maybe the black sky is a black sky for a reason. Maybe it is only a few stars. Uh, but not many, because at some point on another page I'll point out the reason behind like if you go to any city, there's less stars in the sky because the city's too bright, because uh, smog is a factor. So maybe this is an extreme case where they only see a couple of the brightest stars peek through their thick cloud that covers the city. Well, that works for me. um, Geez, I should do this more often. Um, I'm just thinking all this off the top of my head. So what time is it? Well, right now it's just coming on about 10 to 1. Contemplating my next move. But I think I'm really happy with I think it could pretty much work as is. Like I said, I might tweak like exactly where these people in the background are going and put more people back there, of course. Really happy with this. That's your typical, I don't know, maybe you've seen a shot 100 times, but I love that panel. I might have to make that my Inktober day one panel. Then, like this panel, I could actually do a little Howard Schenken kind of thing where it could be, I could simplify the hell out of this and have like one car here, then like Jesse, and this car is a little further back as if it's slowing down on purpose, and the cop car is a little closer, but it's also moving closer to us. Maybe something like that. And the cop car is like just starting to come into view. And you can see at this point, I don't know, let's get a shield or something on the roof. And then we have this more complicated shot. And then, the bazooka or a rocket gun or whatever. I would love for it to fire out on the last panel, but I get a feeling I want to set up more, sort of just the fact that the passenger in the car that looked like it was going down and going to crash into people was actually a diversion and a way to go after the cops. So, maybe, his intent is not to fire the gun, and we'll find out next page. I'm going to have to, I realize now I'm going to have to work with a tighter script. Because if I'm going to start and finish a story in 32 pages, I do want most of it to be about the main character, which I haven't even introduced on this page. But this character we'll see again. Yann's character. Yann's character. My patron, Yann, who agreed to be in the book, is on the first page. So at least we have one sort of principal character in the book. And yeah, so I'm not going to do more than what's here already. Because I have to really work out how I'm going to present everything here. Um, within a sort of show format. And, then what do I offer my patrons and what do I post online? Well, obviously, what I'm going to post online for Inktober is a panel inked, which I'm thinking could be this one, but panel 2, well, on this page, it would be possibly panel 3. Well, technically a panel 2, but I consider this up here a panel, even though it's behind the panels. Yeah, this one I can make, Inktober day 1. Because it allows me to give a glimpse of the story, show off, if not the main character, or at least the character you'll see within the story more than once. And yeah, that will work. So what I'll kind of do is just loosely put in the panels on my, I get on my paper, Bristol paper. I'll put it in the panels and I'll tightly or tighter pencil that panel out, and then ink that, and then post the inks to that tomorrow. I'm going to be playing a little catch up. I realize I'm going to kind of be a day behind for a little bit, but I want to work out the kinks of this show and really, like, once I do have that all worked out, really then just market the hell out of it. And see if I can get a whole audience here, except for my 2 people watching right now, which I hope Van Davis is still here. Well, whoever's watching now, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to end this broadcast for tonight, for this morning, and I'll come back tomorrow with Inktober day 2, and I'll show off, the inks for the first panel, and then we'll dive into creating page 2. Maybe I'll even do a little, sort of story construction on tomorrow's video, so I can sort of map out a timeline, because I don't want to do a Frank Miller and add 100 pages within the middle of the issues. But yeah, I think this was about an hour. Thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. Give me a like. Even if you didn't like it, give me a like. Come on, people. Work with me. And yeah, become a patron if you haven't already. Patreon.com/Peter Palmiotti. Working hard to be a fully sustainable artist full time. Yeah. Uh, the words don't roll off my mouth that well all the time. And yeah, I'll do it again tomorrow. Not sure what time, but once I get the King Saturday show, I'm going to try to stick to a tighter schedule. All right. Good night, everyone. And have a great morning or something. It's late. Okay. Bye.